Hello, and welcome to the Can We Fix It YouTube channel. Over the weekend, the Public's Radio released a roundtable interview with Speaker of the House, Nicholas Mattiello. And I had a fucking brain aneurysm listening to it. So I thought I would share some of my thoughts on this dumpster fire of bullshit that is coming out of this legislative leader's mouth. Let's, I guess, get right into it. First of all, I want to just say credit where it's due. Ian Donnis, Scott MacKay, and Maureen Moakley did an incredible job of taking the speaker to task, asking really hard-hitting questions. But as a professional journalist, there's only so much that you can do, right? You still have to be diplomatic in some way or another. I don't. So this is just an opportunity for me to, drink my frozen cocktail, listen to this, and debunk some of this bullshit with you. So, cheers.
Speaker, I'd like to start with the money laundering trial last week of Jeff Britt. He was a campaign operative for you in 2016. And back in 2016, you said it was your view that no one on your campaign knew about the Shauna Lawton mailer that was sent out to constituents in your district. Last week, testimony at the trial showed that your campaign was closely involved in conceiving and orchestrating that mailer. So how do you square those two different things?
Well, I think based on my perspective back in 16, that was accurate at the time. I disagree with your characterization that my campaign was closely...
Pause. I bet you do. I bet you do disagree with that characterization, don't you? Also, call me Petty LaBelle. Petty runs through my veins. It is so annoying to have Peter Griffin be like the vocal spokesperson for all of us representatives. You know what I mean? I know, very petty, but let's give the people what they want.
Involved with orchestrating it. I think the evidence clearly showed that it was Jeff Britt that planned it, contrived it, orchestrated it, and he may have taken bits and pieces of help from people without knowing what he was doing. But at the end of the day, it was Jeff Britt. Jeff Britt was on.
Okay, first of all, I think he gets paid by the Jeff Britt. Just Jeff Britt. And second of all, I can't even tell if he's trying to say that Jeff's a mastermind and came up with all of this on his own, or Jeff's an idiot who didn't know that what he was doing was illegal, because it can't possibly be both simultaneously. He's not Schrodinger's campaign operative. And in our first episode of the Can We Fix It podcast coming out Friday, October 23rd, we're actually going to go into way more depth about campaign operatives and how they work. So we will come back to this, I promise, but it needed a whole episode just to explain that one thing. So carry on, Mr. Throw Jeff Britt under the bus.
It was 4 years ago. I'm glad all of the facts came out. It's the third time that basically all of the evidence pointed away from me, and there's no doubt that I had no knowledge or involvement in that. That was clear at the Board of Elections.
This reminds me of when Trump came out after the Mueller report and was like, it's clear, no collusion, no obstruction. When he says that the evidence doesn't support, or rather that the evidence supports that he didn't know, the evidence was like emails back and forth between multiple campaign operatives of his. The evidence was like multiple people testifying that they knew what was going on. So he's just banking on the fact that you're not paying attention to any of this and you're not watching any of it, and that he can say all of this stuff and have that be the narrative. But look at all the stuff that's coming out in the trial. And the fact that he, says the evidence points to him not knowing anything. Either he is lying or he's incompetent. The fact that every single member of your campaign staff did something without you. Now, maybe if you were, running a presidential race, I'll even give you governor, right? Like a statewide. Maybe Gina Raimondo doesn't approve every single mailer that comes, out of her campaign. But there's no world in which District 15 is such like a big crazy thing that like you can't keep an eye on your mailers. Just
the Attorney General's investigation, and now to all after they have seen the evidence. I don't even know what I was doing testifying in the case because I had no information relevant to that trial for or against.
I know what you were doing testifying in the case, lying your fucking face off. Like, oh, I don't remember. I don't recall. I don't remember. I don't recall. That's why you didn't have any relevant information to the case. It's because you didn't remember any of the relevant information. Ooh.
Have a reputation as being a very hands-on kind of legislative leader, very immersed in the details. And 2016 was a very close re-election campaign for you. Does it strain credulity to think that you would not be personally involved in executing the production of a mailer such as that one?
No, I mean, that question, I don't know where that question comes from, Ian. What you don't know, you're not involved in. I'm a policy guy, and I do get involved in details, but...
Credit where it's due. Ian Donnis. Thank you for following up on that. Like, don't you think it's kind of like crazy to expect people to believe that you didn't know about all of this shit that was going on with your campaign? And his reaction, again, petty as hell, but like, I don't even know where that question came from. I'm offended. I don't like it.
In that campaign, I had one job, one role, and it was essentially to knock on doors. I used to go into campaign headquarters, get my walking list, and walk until dark. And then you come back awful tired. So that was my role in the campaign. And sure, I looked at mailers that were presented to me and so forth. I had an overriding supervisory role.
I feel like that and so forth is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
But I knocked on doors and met my constituents. That was my job. That was my role. I don't micromanage anybody. What you don't know, you don't know. And what you're not involved in, you're just not involved in. And that's the reality of it. And I think that is clear. Say what you want, Ian. I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, man. Do you see him getting like itchier and itchier as that answer is coming out? Like, like that's totally how innocent people behave. Oh, see, now you understand why I needed to do a reaction on this, because I'm like seething with rage that he would just come and lie to the public. Like he just came to stop in first, he's been hiding out in his basement all during coronavirus, but now he's going to like come and stop in and give like his valuable opinions on things. And all of his valuable opinions are straight up bullshit. So this next one is, again, credit where it's due. Scott MacKay taking him to task, saying, all these other states have managed to like meet remotely, legislate, do their fucking jobs in some way or other during this pandemic, except for you guys. Every crisis, you're not here. And this is the speaker's response.
People have been very silent on all that.
No, we communicate and collaborate with the governor ahead of time. Scott, I believe that in times of states of emergency, that the state should speak with one voice, and that is of the governor.
That would be a new opinion, by the way, because this man has spent his entire speakership talking about how everything at the end of the day is Governor Gina Raimondo's fault. So the fact that he can say that without his pants actually bursting into flames just is astonishing to me. But there's no reason for him to want to work during COVID because, again, this is his favorite thing. He doesn't have to take responsibility for any of the stuff that's coming out. He doesn't have to legislate or do his job. And at the end of the day, he can just pass the buck on to Gina. And whatever goes wrong was Gina Raimondo's fault. And whatever goes right was a wonderful collaboration between her, he, and the Senate president. I'm not buying it. Now we're going to move on to, we just have a couple more clips here. And I'm going to put a link to the full interview in the description below so that you can, because I'm just kind of jumping around here. He's got plenty of interesting, ridiculous things to say in the middle grounds. So this is Maureen Moakley taking him to task on the budget, asking him to be specific and explain how if he's not going to stop the rollback of the car tax, and he's not going to implement any new taxes, how the fuck he plans on coming up with a budget. And watch him rigmarole his way into another lie.
Please be specific. How would you balance the budget? What cuts are you proposing to make? What are the possible ramifications given your commitment to no new taxes and the car tax repeal?
Let me say that you have to take a comprehensive approach with the budget. And we're looking at that and we're doing that. We have not made any hard and fast decisions. We are talking to and negotiating with the Senate right now. We'll be communicating with the governor, and we'll get all of our different viewpoints. I have to meet with my colleagues in the House and get their perspective on things. So I'm not going to say too definitively exactly what we're doing. We'll do that after we've gone through the process and collaborated with everybody and given everybody the voice they deserve. COVID has been devastating on our economy. So
he has to bring the reps in, guys. He's got to bring the reps in and ask our opinion. I would say again, this would be like a new thought that he's having, because this is not historically what he does. He comes up with a budget and he shoves it down your throat at 9:45, on a Thursday night. Just mind-boggling levels of bullshit. Car tax is not impactful for a lot of people. Most people in my community. The repeal of the car tax, we're driving 20-year-old cars. We're driving beaters. Like, my car taxes are like $12 a fucking year. Okay? So like, you like shaving $12 off my taxes is like really not, the thing that's make or breaking it between me, renting and putting down on a fucking mortgage. Second of all, just like, that is a luxury item. A car is a luxury item. And the fact that you would be giving luxury tax cuts before you're making, and he says he doesn't have any specifics, right? He's like, I'm not going to get into the specifics, but you've already specifically stated that you're going to keep the car tax repeal going. So what he's saying when he's saying, I'm not going to go into specifics, is I'm not going to go into specifics about how I'm going to fuck poor people over in this budget. Whew, child. Now we're going to move on to my very favorite thing. Scandal-plagued speaker. And Ian does a good job of bringing up a couple of the obvious ones. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up some of the unobvious ones. So let's pick it up from here.
Ellie, you face a re-election challenge for your state representative seat from Republican Barbara Ann Fenton Fung. She says that there have been too many controversies during your tenure as Speaker. Too many people around you have gotten into trouble with the law, and that it's time for a fresh face. Why is she wrong?
Well, because first of all, the predicate of that question is wrong. People around me have not gotten into trouble.
Ray Gallison, John Carnevale.
Ray Gallison was sent to us by the voters of Bristol, and he got in trouble. It was a private law practice, a state embezzlement. Who at the General Assembly would know that? It has nothing to do with the work there. John Carnevale, if that's the other one you mentioned, I have no idea where he lived. Everybody's responsible for their own actions. Communities send everybody there. You want to challenge someone, challenge the people in those communities that send them to the General Assembly, not.
Okay, you're right. You're right. It is the communities. We can go ahead and pretend that the speaker doesn't have his hands in every single race, which determines who does and does not get elected. We'll just put that one off to the side. But you're right. It is the communities that send them there. But you're the one who puts them on the fucking leadership team. Like, there's absolutely no reason for you to be blaming anybody but yourself. K.O. Keeble. K.O. sexual harassment Keeble. Nobody made you put him on the leadership team. Yeah, Barville may have made you have him, but nobody made you, make him your right-hand man. Also, you want to take elections out of it altogether. Let's talk about your fucking staff. The ones that you have 100% authority over hiring. Frank Montanaro, Grant Pilkington, Michael Coutinho, all the people whose names are constantly in the newspaper for doing various nefarious shit. And then who are we going to blame that one on, though? So again, I appreciate this is where the line is drawn between an actual journalist and I is that Ian can only go so far, right? Whereas I can be like, go fuck yourself. Carry on.
Not the people that are forced to work with the colleagues that are sent. If Warwick or any other town or city sends a representative there, I'm going to work with them because the citizens of that community deserve that. And if we did anything but that, it would be unfair to the citizens of those communities. Nobody around me has gotten in trouble. And Ray Gallison got in trouble in a private law practice. People are mischaracterizing the facts, so you could characterize them any way you want. The reality is we've run an administration, a government that has made things better. We got rid of the master.
You have run a government that has gotten caught giving $1 million of taxpayer money to one of your friends, a chiropractor. You have been running an administration that was caught with a literal heroin dealer working in the state house. You were the administration that was caught with an employee collecting double free tuitions out of one job at the state house. And you want to say scandal-free? Get the fuck out of here. What other administration was accused of doing construction work at 10 o'clock on a Monday night because of secret mold that happened to just arrive just in time for the JCLS offices to be affected? How stupid does he think that we are? Out of curiosity, how stupid does he think that we are?
Level. We reinstated the jurisdiction of the Ethics Commission, lobbying reform, campaign finance reform, you name it. That's my record. We have an economic record second to none in the last 75 years.
That's his record, you guys.
And that's the predicate of your question. My record is second to none in a very long time, and the citizens in District 15 know that. Let's go to Maureen.
He's so salty about that
Mr.
question.
Speaker, if elected, how would you address the concerns of the progressive wing in the House? Frankly, might someone else be a better fit?
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Yo, I love that she just came right out and said it. Good for you, Maureen.
Absolutely not. The speakership is a very, very difficult role. You have to balance interests. You have to listen to both sides in all issues. We've done that. And, some people call me a firewall. I do believe I'm a firewall against bad ideas. I've never said I'm a firewall against progressive ideas. You look at this.
He literally sent out a mailer saying he was the firewall against progressive ideas. Once again, just a blatant, provable lie. Provable. I can't. Oh, and now he's going to talk about all of the progressive policies that he's passed, but he's not going to name any of them. Maybe we'll figure out why in just a minute.
We've passed a lot of progressive bills, but they're ones that make sense that the society wants. There's also a lot of bills that are bad and bad for business, bad for job, bad for the economy. I'm a firewall to those bills. Do I have a lot of friends in the progressive community amongst my colleagues? Absolutely. I have a lot of support.
Where is this magical progressive support? Where is this progressive wing of the party that's lining up to be best friends with Speaker Mattiello? Like, those two things, it hurts my brain. It hurts my brain. Please, if you are a progressive who is supporting Mattiello, like an actual progressive, and words mean things, so don't fucking come at me with that like fake liberal nonsense. I just, the fact, again, that his pants don't just like burst into flames is insanity to me. And now, finally, Scott MacKay is going to ask him a follow-up question on the progressives and how he's going to appeal to that wing of the party.
It's just on my record. It's what we've done. I've got a 14-year record of balancing ideas, ideals, viewpoints, and supporting progressive ideas, supporting conservative ideas. I always say I'm analytical and not ideological, and we've supported everybody and everybody's viewpoint when it's appropriate.
Why don't you ask Maria Samini about that one? Or me, for that matter. Teresa Tanzi. any of the number of women who he has not only supported, but actively supported the opponents of time after time after time. We deserve better than this, just so we're all clear. Like, we deserve better than this. We deserve somebody who knows that we're smart enough to not fall for this absolute bullshit.
Sometimes progressive ideas are great at moving you forward, and sometimes they're bad for business. So you have to discern the difference between the two and move accordingly. But I would say it's simply on my record of representing all values in my community very well and in a very balanced way.
Who are you voting for president and why?
I'm voting for Joe Biden.
First of all, no, you're not. You're voting for Donald Trump. We all know you're voting for Donald Trump. Just say it out loud, all right? Like, you wear his ties. I don't know a single fucking Democrat who literally went out and bought Trump dangle down to your balls ties. Like, I do not understand how this man still expects us to believe that he is a Democrat. Also, there was one real big progressive policy, progressive being in line with the National Democratic Party policy, that we got passed this year that he cannot say by name. That was the Reproductive Healthcare Act, the RPA. And the Reproductive Privacy Act. So he can't say that out loud because he gets a lot of his support from the anti-choice people. And so he can't hang his hat on that thing that would genuinely appease a bunch of progressives, because he knows that it would lose him a bunch of donors and sponsors, and he's not willing to risk that shit. This interview is just further proof that this man has no problem lying directly to the public. And again, I commend Ian, Maureen, and Scott on asking the hard-hitting questions and not letting him get away with it. But I just want to be clear that from the minute he opened his mouth to the moment he closed it, he was lying to your faces. Provable, easily provable lies. And maybe if I start getting better at this, I will have somebody who keeps all the receipts for me, because I know about the mailers. I know about the number of scandals that have hit the newspapers. We can objectively prove that what he's saying is untrue. Now, I weeks ago said that all the Democrats in District 15 should vote for Barbara Ann Fenton-Fung, and when asked by the press if she thought that was going to hurt her campaign, she said, listen, Maura, if Mattiello were running against a cockroach, Maura would be Team Cockroach. And I can't pretend that that's not objectively true. This man is just like a garbage human being. And sometimes you just have to throw the whole man away. You know, like some men, you can work with them and you can be like, okay, you're not great on this, but like we can work on this. But like sometimes you just have to throw the whole man away. So I'm asking Democrats and Republicans to please just throw the whole man away. We deserve better. We deserve somebody who's not going to lie directly to our faces. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe for more Collective Action Network videos. Quick reminder that our first podcast is going to drop Friday, October 23rd. So if you want to help us out financially, which we would be forever grateful for, the link for that is www.patreon.com/canwefixit. All the links will be in the description down below. Thank you, and I look forward to having more angry react videos in the future.